Chapter 1. On a Monday afternoon in June, Miss Susan Biggs drove into the Fuel Up Fast parking lot. She bypassed the pumps and stopped her car in front of the convenience store, almost blocking the entrance. When she came inside, she ignored me completely and walked directly back to the drink coolers. I was busy assisting customers, so other than sparing her a quick look and noting her too blonde hair and very blue suit, I didn't give her much thought. Never guessing that within 30 minutes of her walking into the store, my world would be overset. For my almost 20 years of adulthood, my life had been pretty much the same day in, day out. I'd always believed that if I worked hard and took care of my responsibilities, something better would come along, as if belief alone could make it happen. Over those years, I'd gained fine lines at the corners of my eyes and found a few gray hairs among the auburn strands, but otherwise, nope, nothing. And definitely no sign of improvement. Not in jobs, love, or my future. Hal walked past where I stood at the cash register. He was headed to the manager's office in the back. He gave me a nod, saying, "Good morning, Lillian." He always said my name right. My parents had kept the E on the end because I was named after my grandmother, and that was how she'd spelled it. But that E tended to confuse people. Hal always remembered to say my name as if the E didn't exist. Hal was a good guy and a good boss. I appreciated him. The woman in blue was returning to the front of the store with a tall bottle of expensive water. She set it on the counter in front of me without greeting or conversation. I was good with that because other customers were queuing up to check out. No time to dally. I rang up the bottled water, but before she managed to slide her chipped card into the reader, her phone played a tune. In a heartbeat, she pasted the phone to her ear and turned her back to me and the counter, saying, "I told him I—" Her voice dropped as she walked away. Walked away? My hand was frozen in midair, still pointing at the credit card machine. The customers who were lined up and waiting stared at her, then at me. Supremely annoyed, I made a huffy noise and pulled my hand back. Loudly, I called out, "Ma'am?" She was standing in front of the milk and soda coolers now. Her back was to me, and she was speaking low into her phone. She leaned closer to the cooler door, using it as a mirror, patting her hair and then smoothing the bright blue slacks and suit jacket, all the while talking. The rest of us, in our jeans and t-shirts and workday clothes, didn't exist for her. Making an angry, frustrated noise loud enough to be heard by everyone, I avoided the transaction. I didn't bother to call Hal back out from his office to approve it first. What was he going to do if I broke a rule? Fire me? Ha! He'd already told me I was being laid off at the end of the week. I didn't blame him for that. He didn't have much of a choice about it, but... The next customer, a regular, stepped up without hesitation, his well-worn wallet already in hand as he slipped out the bills to pay for his extra-large coffee in Danish. The blue woman paid no attention to any of us. Keep an eye on her, I told myself. If she thought this was some slick way for her to slip out without paying, she had another think coming. I'd been doing this job on and off for a long time, too long, and I knew all the tricks. This wasn't about Hal or the convenience store or even the bottle of water. This was now between me and her. By the time she ended her call and noticed the rest of the world again, I was finishing up with the last person in line. I reached for the voided slip I'd tucked under the stapler, ready to speak a whole slew of harsh words at her. Again, what was Hal going to do if I was rude? Would he let me go today instead of at the end of the week? For once in my life, I would experience the satisfaction of unloading my anger on a customer who'd crossed the line. This arrogant woman deserved it if anyone did. But before I could vent all over her, another woman walked in. Gwen. I knew Gwen. She was kind and very smart. Vaguely embarrassed that she might have read such ugly intent on my face, I tried to smooth the anger away. The blue lady was lucky. She'd never know how close she'd come to being unleashed on. Gwen caught my eye, gave me a tiny wave, but then walked right past me to join the woman. They greeted each other with a smile and a hug. The expression on the woman's face said Gwen was expected. These two had planned to meet up here. Seriously?